You know, one of the reasons why the enforcement folks at the Securities and Exchange Commission don't put on uniforms was because you don't have to see them coming until they hit you. Amos Azi, the head of that department and deputy director at the SEC. Good morning. Thanks for coming. We appreciate that. You folks are here in Lagos. This is where you'll be blanketing the city for the next 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday. The CMC meeting starts tomorrow. Right. Then we have the a basket of events for Thursday. Looks like this is heavy towards the end of the year. But let's start with this very important and interesting story about the plan by the SEC to pay retail investors from your protection fund. That looks like an interesting story here for Nigerians who are retail investors, small-time investors, who will be able to claw back some of the losses they've secured. Talk to us about this. How much is available, and how do you intend to go about this?
Yeah, thank you, Bosan. Good morning, viewers. We all know that the Securities and Exchange Commission has a mandate to protect, to regulate, and develop the market. In the process of regulation, our focal point are the investors. We must protect them from sharks, from unfair deals in the market. And we are all aware that the downturn in the market in previous years has affected investors' confidence. People are no more interested into the market. And so the Commission now looked at its laws. The law under Section 13K empowered it to now set up this trust fund that will take care of such situations where investors are affected through defalcation, through insolvency, bankruptcies of a capital market operator registered by the Commission. So in view of that, and part of the 10-year master plan that the Commission unveiled last year included the
protection fund.
The protection fund. Now, the protection fund had to come because when you are trying to encourage or insensitize the collective investment scheme, that's where most of these small retail investors put in their money in your pool and then they invest with them. And at the end of the day, nothing is there for them, and I mean, it affects the market. So in order to, as part of implementing that agenda in the master plan, so the Commission now came up with this Investor Protection Fund. Now, the Investor Protection Fund is a pool of funds that is created, governed by law, is incorporated under the Part 2 of the Company and Allied Matters Act, so which means it's a legal person, has also perpetual succession. You can sue and it can be sued. Now, the funds for the fund actually are sourced from grants that will come from the Commission, donations from other interested persons, contributions from capital market operators. But let's understand this. The fund is only available to those investors whose investments are not covered by any fund, any such similar investor protection fund that is being managed by any securities exchange or capital trade point. So it's not as if it's a basket, anybody that has lost his investment in the market, you now go in there. No. Now, apart from that, now, the fund managers who actually are domiciled with these responsibilities that the investors are always at the receiving end, they are also supposed to contribute. So it's not as if anybody that just drive into any business, call it any name, and then you say you want to take benefit. No, the operator upon which this investor who lost their money must be registered with the Commission. The product upon which is sold to people, whether it's a scheme or unit trust, must also be registered and recognized by the Commission, so that we don't have a situation where somebody will meet Boston and say, this is Boston investment, and I've lost my money, and so send me. No, it's a regulated fund. And
so for those who put money in those voodoo, as you call them,
no, they are not part of it.
They won't benefit from it.
No, certainly
So
not.
if any Nigerian had ever put money ever in any of those overnight voodoo banks,
we call
or
them
securities for Umana type.
Yes, Ponzi schemes,
the Ponzi schemes,
illegal operators.
Yes.
They are not covered by it.
So if you come stepping forward to benefit from this,
one, you must show that you invested your money with a registered capital market operator. Two, you must prove that actually you had an investment. and you must also prove that you've lost your investment. And so there are processes. Now, this fund is governed by a council, a board, high-level board chaired by the DG, and there's enabling law to support that. Now, then it has also 3 experts sourced from the trade groups in the capital markets that actually there's schedule responsibilities borders on these things.
Now, let me ask you this, because you are the head of enforcement, as you said, you are the IG within the SEC, you're the Inspector General there. So, what does your enforcement and oversight functions reveal as to the state of the market when it comes to these sponsor schemes and things like fraudulent behavior by non-registered operators?
Yes, it's a big problem. It's a global problem. But in Nigeria, prevalent because it's an index of greed. People come and tell you, bring 1 million, I'll give you 500,000 after 3 months. You not ask for registration. You not ask how you are going to invest this money. No due diligence carried out. People just move in. Now, what the Commission has done, or has been doing over time, is that each time we receive complaints, we've been receiving complaints, we now carry out a normal surveillance. After carrying out normal surveillance, we now go after them. Those we're able to arrest, we arrest them, we prosecute them, freeze their accounts, and go after some of the assets with a to see what we can remedy for those unfortunate interested investors. Now, that is why the fund comes in. Now, if people, out of ignorance, though it's not an excuse, now go to these illegal operators, it shows that there is this drive, there is this, people are motivated to invest. Now, when you invest, you expect a return. And when you don't get that return, it affects the market. So that is why they say, look, we must rekindle the confidence of these retail investors. At least something should be in place to ameliorate some of these losses. It may not be complete, but at least it's a step. And Bosan, and the most interesting thing about the SEC Investor Protection Fund is that in the whole of Africa sub-region, Nigeria has set the pace in establishing this fund.
Yeah, well, that's because we have a lot of bad folks.
Not really that. You see, because we are really concerned about attracting investors and also concerned about protecting them. Now, apart from Nigeria, which the fund and the governing council will be inaugurated by the Vice President on Friday, now the next one we have is operated by Canadian Security Exchange. It's called Investor Protection and Education Fund of Canada. Now, we also, the second one before Nigeria is the one operated by the Securities and Exchange Commission of India. So globally, we are among the few people that have shown commitment towards protecting our investors, have shown commitment towards deepening the market. Because the more retail investors you have, the more the market is deepened. There'll be probably more liquidity. And so therefore, when the confidence market has bounced back, then there'll be more activity.
So give us an idea about how checks will be handing out on Thursday.
No, on Thursday, we're not going to hand out any check. Why? Because we need to have, the law says there shall be a board. And there shall be a board, there shall be a verification committee. So the board will be inaugurated on Friday, and then they'll go into action. Now, the board will then also set up the verification committee so that people will need to apply. It's not automatic. You need to apply. There's a process. We have the National Investor Protection Rules that governs how you can access this fund. And now you can also get the rules on our website. If you go into the website, you can see the rules. It gives you the procedure and processes upon which you can access. So actually, even when an investor applies, we will need to verify and confirm. Is the firm a registered firm? Did he really invest? You know, Nigerians could be a very interesting people. Somebody can just sit down and go and create a name and say, look, I've invested here, I need money, because they say there is money. So
all the verification and everything will likely fall. You will likely be part of those who will be doing those verifications and be sure that the SEC is not going to end up paying folks who are not really covered.
Definitely not. Definitely not. And the law establishing the fund also gives the board the discretion after assessing to pay or not to pay.
Okay.
Particularly, one interesting thing that investors must know is that you must not also be contributory.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
In case someone, an individual, was a director or a manager
That's
of
right.
such a fund,
Yes.
or a mutual fund, whatever, a fund manager that's gone down, and you are part of those who run it down, you can apply and say, well,
I also put in money there. I want to get something out of it. No.
You're not going to get it?
No, certainly not.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on you. I'm very impressed. Just let us know when the checks have been handed.
Very soon, we'll let you
We'd like
know.
to see how large
Yeah.
it is for retail investors.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for bringing the multivitamin
Thank you very
to
much.
investors
Thank you
who
very much.
have lost some,
Yeah, we want to
some blood in
we
the
want to
market.
appeal to Nigerians to not to lose hope in the market.
Thank you for bringing hope.
to lose
We
hope
appreciate
in
it.
the market. Thank
Amos Azi, the Head of Enforcement and Deputy Director at the Securities and Exchange Commission. Okay, we're counting down now to the final, where are we? Just about 3 hours to the Central Bank of Nigeria's interest rates decision, the communique of the two-day meeting headed by Godwin Emefiele, the governor of the Central Bank. That announcement will be coming between 2 and 2:30 Nigerian time. Stick around. We'll have a preview of that for you in the next 1 minute.